Hello to my whiskey drinking friends of the Netherlands. Dean Jode, Head of Whiskey Creations here for Murray McDavid, and I'm broadcasting to you today from, of course, our traditional Victorian dunnage warehouses at Colburn Distillery. And today I'm going to talk you through one of our drams that we've bottled actually in 2021. A dram to warm me up on this cold winter's day. It's currently snowing outside. It's around 4 degrees centigrade in the warehouse here today, which slows and softens the maturation of our whiskies. Very, very slow at this time of year. Come the warmer months, everything begins to ramp up, temperatures increase, and the activity inside these casks really starts to come to life again. When it's cold, everything's just a little bit slower, a little bit more relaxed. And I need a whiskey to warm me up, as I'm sure you do too. So today I'm going to talk to you about our Caol Ila in our benchmark series. Of course, a single malt from the Isle of Islay. We present this at 6 years of age, having been initially filled into standard refill bourbon hogsheads, as many of our cask whiskies are filled into. We have re-racked this particular Islay malt into a cognac cask. Now, of course, Caol Ila being peated Islay malt, that does come through on the nose, of course, that briny, sweet style of Islay malt that we all, I'm sure, are very accustomed to and know and love. The workhorse of Islay, of course, the biggest distillery, the most productive distillery on the beautiful Isle of Islay. You may have seen, if you followed Murray McDavid bottlings throughout the years, many different cask finishes of this very versatile style of malt. It's oily, it's peaty, and can stand up to some really interesting and diverse styles of maturation. You may have seen some red wine cask finishes historically, some finishes in our Koval casks, Madeira wine as well. Many different styles, richer styles, heavier styles, certainly so. And many more to come, of course. But this, our last bottling of Caol Ila, has been finished for 14 months in a cognac, in a series of cognac casks from a producer called Deau, D-E-A-U, who are a brand of cognac in the Charente region of France, just north of Bordeaux. They've actually been making eau de vie for around 300 years, so incredibly experienced in mastering the art of producing this very ancient style of spirit, eau de vie. Very, very fruity, of course, as the name suggests. And they fill their eau de vie in these rather impressive French oak casks. Now, for those of you who are familiar with casks in different sizes, you might be able to see just down to the left of me here we have wine barriques. Wine barriques are generally around bulk capacity of 225 litres. Our casks here from Deau are 350 litre bulk capacity, so larger casks, gentler style of maturation, a greater, or so I should say a lower ratio between spirit and oak, just softening the aggression of the maturation here. But this wonderful French oak has been used to mature this eau de vie into a fine cognac, and over the years that eau de vie has really entrenched into the French oak here, loading the wood with that beautifully rich, fruity, almost coming into a spicy caramelly cognac over the years. Of course, when those casks are emptied, when the cognac is disgorged, we import these casks from France once a year. Only a small parcel of these casks will come to us every year, straight from the producer, having been disgorged. We like to try and get those casks from France up to here in Speyside within just a few weeks, so we can get those filled quickly. And actually, very interestingly, the cask that I have just next to me is a sister cask to what we're drinking here, the 6-year-old Caol Ila. If you have a bottle in front of you, you might be able to see the first cask number here is 1925785, and the cask number here is 1955785. So if you come up to see us at Colburn over the Spirit of Speyside Festival in just a few weeks' time, really, you can come and visit this cask, and if you're on our Valence tasting, maybe you can have a dram of this to compare side by side to the Caol Ila that's been finished for 14 months in these large, fruity, rich, spicy casks. Now, as I say, the ambient temperature in here at the moment is around 4 degrees, which is why you might be able to see the state of my fingers starting to go red there. What that actually does in the warehouse as well is actually chilling the spirit actually reduces a lot of the characteristics that will emit from the glass. So I'm very envious of you sitting at home or sitting in your whiskey club, your tasting arena, to be trying this in more appropriate temperatures, let's say. I mean, on the nose, we do still, of course, get that sweet, smoky style of Caol Ila that's coming through. There's a really lovely kind of salted caramel element that's coming from there. The fruitiness of the eau de vie, almost apple strudel with caramel coming through on there. Yeah, with that kind of briny, citrusy, lemony note. Really, really wonderful. And this is, we selected this to be bottled at 50% alcohol. Now, the reason that I've selected that strength is to retain some of the aggression of that Islay malt, but actually also to keep the concentration of flavour that we've developed from these larger casks. If we had brought that down to 46%, it would have been a very different drinking experience. Some of that cognac influence would have just been a little bit softened. So bottling it at the higher strength there, that was with a view to retain some of that characteristic of the cognac. And having spent 14 months in these larger style of casks, as I say, the general size for a hogshead is around 250 bulk litres. The wine barriques here 225 bulk litres. Slightly larger is the 350 litre casks that we have from cognac here. Smaller than sherry butts or port pipes, but large enough. I mean, these things weighing just under half a ton when they're full. So it's a bit of a beast, it's a bit of a monster, but we love working with them because the influences that we achieve from those casks, the first fill cask, freshly emptied of course, is really quite wonderful. And the aim here for Murray McDavid and our continued bottlings of Caol Ila is to offer sheer diversity of styles of what you would have seen previously. So this is why we've selected the Daewoo casks to be filled with this this rich, briny, smoky style of Caol Ila that we all know and love, to offer you something slightly different on that style that we all know and love. Oh, that's the spirit. I mean, with that 50%, it really does keep the concentration of that juicy, fruity styles coming from the cask. That wonderful, sweet, briny, citrusy style of Islay malt as well. Really wonderful coming together of flavour. I mean, if you swirl your glass in front of you, we're looking at the legs, the oiliness, And that's something that I really love. That's been a real focus of mine over the past year, is looking at the oiliness of spirit, the texture of spirit. Because the texture for me, the oiliness, acts as a real vehicle of flavour. As I'm talking, as I'm breathing, I'm now starting to get more complex fruity notes in there, more complex tropical fruits, gentle sweet cinnamon spice, cinnamon rolls within the palate there. Absolutely delicious, certainly within these cold temperatures. So in true Murray McDavid fashion, this is a small batch bottling within the benchmark. We will do single cask bottlings, but with more popular styles like the Caol Ila. This is slightly larger, 1,700 bottles produced globally, and a real treat. Our next bottling will be in and around April, May. We will have more Caol Ila on the way. Matured in casks of very similar size, of 350 bulk litres, but not cognac. I'm going to seal my lips there before I give too much away about our next release, but there, I can assure you there'll be at least one Caol Ila, bottled at 50% again, but a different finish. I'm going to leave you guessing. Send me a message on Instagram or email me for any guesses, any suggestions for future batches of what we should be maturing our Caol Ila spirit in. Always love to have weird and wonderful suggestions for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to my whiskey review of our beautiful Caol Ila finished in the cognac casks. I hope you enjoyed, and please do get in touch. Please do come and see us at Colburn over the next coming weeks and months if you can, or just simply give us a like on social media. I look forward to seeing you in person sometime very soon to share a dram. Cheers. All the best.